name is Allessandra.
And I'm Christina.
And together we want to investigate and explore the digital culture that surrounds our lives.
In this two-part series, we'll become our own media informers, discussing relevant issues that could change the way we engage and participate in developing our digital fingerprint. In this episode, Allessandra and I investigate what intersectional analysis helps us to understand contemporary digital culture. This is important because media users need to be able to identify underlying biases hidden in mainstream media. Intersectionality refers to the way in which oppressive institutions are intertwined. These institutions are, as a result, unable to be examined separately from the others. These said institutions that we're talking about include racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, ableism, xenophobia, classism, and much more.
But why is it even relevant in the digital culture today? The answer is both complex and simple. Through the intersectionality analysis, we can understand how we are able to have all these technologies available to us at our fingertips. Intersectionality also influences when media circulates the cyber realm and into your news feeds. For example, let's begin before you've even purchased your new smartphone. Coltan is needed for computers and other electronics in order to release electrical charges in teeny tiny capacitors. Modern global communication infrastructures like the internet and other devices, appliances, electronics, and other things are connected to it, which means that all of our technologies could cease to exist without cheap access to Coltan. So the question is, what would you do to have your phone, laptop, tablet? What would you do for this Coltan? Would you kill people? Would you rape them? Would you take the food out of children's mouths? You wouldn't do any of those things, would you? Neither would I. But don't worry, that's why companies like Apple, Google, Dell, Intel, Nokia, Ericsson already do all of those things for us. They get their hands dirty and clean up the mess before we even see it, so we don't have to feel the guilt and shame that comes and is in fact traded for our technology and internet usage.
An intersectional analysis helps us to understand bloody conflict mineral wars over the control of coltan. African individuals have to endure the inhumane labor, regulations, oppressions, loss of human life, and rape in order for more privileged individuals to profit and increase their own wealth form.
As media consumers, prosumers, and new media producers, we decided we'd investigate how an intersectional analysis help us understand what is in our everyday scrolls and browses, and how it possibly influences us without having any knowledge of the brainwashing that is happening.
We want to investigate whose perspective influences the media that is globally distributed, but more specifically, where do our ideals of beauty and superiority generate from, and according to what hierarchy?
While doing the research on this subject, we read a paper by Muriel Miller-Young about understanding the hypersexuality Black women are entangled in an illicit eroticism, focusing more on pornography. One of the most prominent concepts pertain to the idea of hegemonic whiteness. Hegemonic meaning something dominant or ruling in a certain social context. In the porn industry, white women are more valued as prize commodity than Black women. According to production companies, audiences have more of an appeal or desire to see white women, thus valuing them as more than the Black women.
According to Miller-Young, Black women contractors for professional companies are currently paid $400 to $900, while white actresses tend to be paid $1,000 to $2,000.
This is a huge pay gap for the same amount of labor. However, the issue extends further than that. With hegemonic whiteness being the drive behind production companies, Black women are forced to assimilate or settle to being demeaned and devalued.
Crossover appeal refers to the idea that while beauty standards are the ultimate beauty ideals, crossover appeal is a step further from hegemonic whiteness because Black women are pressured to assimilate while maintaining their own exotic uniqueness. In order to satisfy their audiences, pornography director companies continue to marginalize their content that is distributed and produced.
However, the issue extends further than that. With hegemonic whiteness being the drive behind production companies, Black women are forced to assimilate or settle to being demeaned and devalued. But how does that relate to our homepage feeds on social media or Facebook? Coveting white beauty standards over others is detrimental to all media users because this repetition is exercised in the content that we are exposed to. The social media influencers we follow, the celebrities we idolize, why are they so appealing to us? Rather, who is telling us that they are appealing? Have you ever considered that maybe your appeal to something was not because you liked it, but because it was ingrained in you to be attracted to? One of the leading uses in contemporary digital culture is how social media and influencers influence, LOL, our lives. Influencers use social media to generate a community with their audiences, like tweeting your favorite YouTuber, or liking them on Instagram, tuning in on their live feed.
Crystal Abaddon makes a great point in her article about contemporary influencers. She says, how the practice of perceived interconnectedness has resulted in social tensions in influencers' personal lives as immediacy, a need for short response time, constancy, need for responses around the clock, exclusivity, need for personalized attention and responses, intimacy, the need to foster a feeling of familiarity, and quality, need to produce thoughtful responses. This is super important because social tensions relate back to an understanding of media in the context of media labor. Your favorite influencers are putting in time and effort in order to provide their audiences with quality content with hopes of getting income in return. My sister makes content for YouTube, and it takes her hours just to edit one video, not to mention the money invested in her equipment, a camera, a ring light, a microphone, and editing software. It's a lot of work. She wasn't even getting paid at first, but with her growing following, now she does, and she considers it a job, which I find really interesting when talking about labor in digital culture. For example, many of the leading beauty industry influencers receive promotional packages for upcoming makeup products. Cool, free products, right? Unfortunately not. Many prestigious makeup brands are not inclusive to all demands of different individuals outside of complexions that are porcelain and ivory. What is important to understand is that when companies give their PR packages to these influencers, the product in the package caters to the audience the company wants to attract.
The lack of inclusivity for individuals who don't have fair skin shows how much disregard major corporations have for people of skin color other than white.
In short, an international analysis shows us that women still experience inclusivity battles when it comes to social medias and who are the influencers.
All in all, we can understand that through an intersectional analysis, we can better understand the digital culture that we live in today.